podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index, and this is Newsround. And it's very rare for myself and this man to be on a podcast together these days after so many years, but this news dictates it. I'm going to welcome you to Gags Tandon, but the big breaking news this morning is Jurgen Klopp has announced that he is leaving Liverpool Football Club at the end of the season. He's recorded a video on YouTube and on the Liverpool Football Club website. You can also watch it on Anfield Index explaining his reasons. But Gags, what's your reaction to that news that's broke this morning?
Oh man, it's devastating. Devastating to have this break at this stage of the season. It really feels like Kenny again. Obviously, the difference being Kenny had gone through quite a lot before he resigned, and obviously he resigned on the spot, so he'd gone at that point, which left the whole season in a bit of a mess and derailed us a little bit. But Kenny's reasons were completely valid, and so are Jurgen's as well. At the end of the day, it's as simple as him saying that he hasn't got the energy to go again, the same as he does. And you have to respect that because he's a full-on kind of guy. I think you can see that it consumes him. In his tenure, we've been through some ups and downs. You could see when he lost his mom and it was COVID, there was, you could see when it toils on Jurgen, and, he loves the club, he loves the players a lot. So, I'm not disappointed in him at all. I admire him and I really respect him for making this decision. And apparently, the decision was made in November. So he made it quite early on in the season, kept it very quiet. And apparently the players were told just as they came back from the winter break. So, this might be news to those that have left, for the international breaks, or maybe they got calls and it was discussed there as well. So it's just, it's a big shock for everyone. And, with shock, you got to go through that kind of Kubler-Ross grieving thing. Everybody's got to go get over this in the next, and I think it's good to give the players that time, to get over it at this stage. January is one of those months where you don't play the Premier League that much either. It's more cups and stuff. And then also, bloody hell, how many players do we have out? So if they've known for a week or so, we've played some really good football in the last week, I have to say. So that's a good sign for me. That's a sign that the players really want to win something for this man. And I really hope that, the one mission they have right now is to get him a proper parade, a parade to get that Premier League trophy. So I think the mission's clear, Eddie. I think the mission is really, really clear for the players, the club. We could be sad and we can, lick our wounds for a bit. And absolutely everybody should be sad because it's a shock. And he's one of our greatest, maybe even the greatest as a manager. I know people will say Shankly, Kenny, but this guy literally has done every single trophy for us in a short span of time, made us a team that has fought an illegal team. That's all I'm going to call them. An illegal team. They have fought against a juggernaut, and had that juggernaut not been allowed to do what it did, this man might be looking at 5 Premier League titles in a row or something like that. It just brings the money, the players. It will just bring so much difference. So the only shame I'd say is that he hasn't won more, but I don't think that's all in his hands. I think there's a lot of things we can say about the owners, a lot of things we can say about having a Man City in the league. And I don't think everybody should just point it, Jurgen should have won more, and just leave it as that, as statement as that. There's so many factors in that. But yeah, I think if we can make this season now the one for him, I'm really calm about it. I kind of have expected it. I see loads of people really upset, and they should be. And everybody's like, "Why are you so calm, mate?" I've had that on Twitter, like, "How are you thinking so clearly?" But I think I've kind of expected him to go for a while, especially when we had a bad season last year. I kind of felt like maybe he'll do this, because I think last year must have toiled on him hard. With that team losing like it was, that's your team that literally won everything and they were getting embarrassed. So maybe it toiled on him heavily, and, I really hope it's not any health stuff and all that. And I just think
Well, in the interview that he did with LFC TV, that was quite rightly the first question that he was asked in terms of, are you okay? And he very much said, yes, he's fine. There's nothing major going on with him, but that it was along the lines of he just doesn't feel like he quite has the energy levels that he did. And obviously he's getting older. And I know there was a lot of discussion on Anfield Index and other platforms about people expecting that he may now sign a new contract. And it doesn't look like, well, he's not going to finish the contract that he signed in 2022. No. So I think that's the big surprise, I suppose. But then if they'd carried on this season and it got left to the end of the season, then all the talk would have turned to, oh, he's going into his last year. Will he sign another contract? And all of and it seems like the humble man that he is, he doesn't seem to want to be the talk and the conversation around the club to be dominated about when he stays and when he goes. And we've always said contract renewals with players, trying to sign new players, the recruitment model, it's all at the stage where it's so divisive in terms of whether he signs and whether he stays. Those conversations will be getting asked. We know Liverpool are keeping their powder dry this January, but they will be talking to players about the summer. And a lot of them will be saying, a lot of agents would rightly be saying, what's happening with Jurgen Klopp? He'll have 1 year left at the end of this season. And those conversations rightly mean that FSG and the people running the club need to ask that question to Jurgen Klopp. So those conversations will have all been happening. And obviously that's a case of he's now decided. He even said in the interview that he had to break the news to his wife. So it wasn't something he had discussed with her at length, other than the conversations a couple of years ago when they decided that they were going to carry on. So I think the shock element that you mentioned, that the stages of grief, a lot of Liverpool fans will be going through that today. There's no two ways about it. We normally get an inkling if something big is going to happen around 24 hours before. This didn't happen with this. We only found out 15 minutes before the news was announced publicly, 15 minutes. And that's when most journalists probably were. The one thing that did surprise me was Dave Davis said yesterday that he was doing his Klopp press conference yesterday morning and that Klopp had come in and recorded it. And when you consider that they were down in London till very late the night before, I found that very strange for a Sunday game that he was recording his press conference before that. I was shocked when Dave said that he was doing that. So I did wonder if something may be happening today, but I didn't expect this. So that's a massive shock element. So let's fast forward. There's going to be lots of podcasts on Anfield Index today about this. Gags and I have just joined up at lunchtime just to give you a quick reaction so that we can get something out there. But I know that Tread's planning something, that Dave Davis is planning something. You're going to have Jay Reid, you're going to have Jim Boardman. Keep your eyes peeled and all that. This is a massive story for Liverpool.
Yeah, probably a Desi as well over the weekend. Well.
So there's all sorts going to be happening this weekend as well. It does kind of change our schedule drastically, and we don't apologise for that because obviously it's such a big story. Now let's just, before we finish, have a quick conversation about some of the players and the way that this may be the catalyst to the rest of the season. We're going on four fronts again, and this seemed to break the last squad and the last team, and probably in some ways broke Klopp to some extent. But how could this become a galvanising element in what we've got left? Klopp's never had that Premier League title in front of the fans. You know what I mean? How much of a big deal is that going to be? Could this be the thing, if you like, that spurs on it? You mentioned Man City and the financial doping and the juggernaut that they are. Could this be a factor in pushing towards that Premier League title? Now, I've never even spoke about that publicly to anyone. I don't even think I spoke about it privately. I've never been on train with the winning the league thing because
me neither. I just
have this massive fear with Man City and the way they go into that, like this sixth gear that no one else seems to have. And it's always been, but in the back of my mind that it's just not happening this year. I've never wanted to get my hopes up. But with this news, does that change it? Does it change it for you?
Changes everything. I think this year's the year. I think we're top of the league right now. If there's ever a time where you want to just take every game and win it, either way, in any which way possible, it's this year. I think the players in the squad on the whole, I think it's only Gomez left, is it? that was
Yeah.
pre-Klopp.
Yeah.
So, and even Gomez, everything he won is under Klopp. So every single player in that squad that has won something at the club owes it to him, right? And they know he's the reason why they're so good. Some of the players that have come in this season have gone levels up, or they look another player, they look amazing, and they've fitted into the squad, and they're part of a team, a Liverpool team that's top of the league. Wherever they've come from Brighton, from Leipzig, wherever they've come from, they're part of a team that's top of the league. That's enough belief for me to say we can go on and still do this. And I think with this, some of those players, especially the longest service ones, will be like, we want to give something back now. We really want to give something back to this guy. Before we were doing it for ourselves and selfishly want to win something with the club and it's the team thing. Now it's for Klopp. And I think anybody that has heard any words about Klopp from any of the players in this squad, it is always with love. So I think that's what happens. Teams get galvanized, and that becomes like this single mentality drive. It becomes herd mentality. I think I put a tweet out just a few minutes ago about, let me read it. Liverpool players, your mission, if you choose to accept it, get Klopp his farewell parade. You know what to do, and it's not so impossible either. Like, it's not mission. I mean, I know I've gone on Mission Impossible, but it's
this
not
message will self-destruct in 5 months.
Exactly. It's gonna, and that's great. It's gonna self-destruct at the end with Porsche. But let's make that final day. It's gonna be tears, right? On the final day, but let's make it tears of joy. Let's make it the most monumental occasion that any of us have experienced in the last 20 years. A legend walks out, a massive hero. He will walk out a hero regardless, but imagine winning it in front of the fans as you leave. There's no better fairy tale.
I mean, Harinder mentioned it. Harinder Singh mentioned it on a podcast that he did with Dave Davis and Trev Downey last week, just at the tail end of last week. And it actually caught me off guard that no manager really since it'll be since not even Joe Fagan, no manager since Paisley has actually left at the height of their powers on their own terms, without health reasons or being dismissed, or no one's gone out with a full steam. You know what I mean? And this is that. You know what I mean?
I think in the Premier League era as well, everyone always left when they dipped. Everyone always left when something went wrong, and if he does this at the height of his powers, like I said, I admire. It's something a great manager would do. I'll be honest, not prolong something, not hang on till the end, be reflective of their own energy, not try to stick for a payday. He didn't even take a pay rise when the last contract came. He gave the pay rises to his team, who, by the way, all are leaving as well.
Yeah.
Right? That's the loyalty.
So that takes us on to the final question then. What happens next? You know what I mean? We've heard that Pep Lijnders is leaving as well. Now, he would have been one that people would have put up high somewhere on a bookie's list of next Liverpool manager. Let's just speculate for just a couple of minutes as we finish off what happens next.
Well, the interesting thing is Liverpool just announced Schmachter's leaving at the end of January. So what happens next is kind of like very interesting segue, because there's a guy out there who, rumored, didn't get on with Mr. Klopp and left, Michael Edwards. Who knows? Who knows if there's a return coming? And if that means, you have a managing director like that, or a head of football, director of football in that way, then the management is different. There's rumors that Xabi Alonso has a contract clause that allows him to leave only for Madrid and Liverpool. If that's true, I don't see anything changing at Madrid just yet. So at Liverpool, that's there now, and that can be. They can have those discussions immediately and get those things rolling, that ball rolling if they want to. He's a legend as well. He's won the big one for us, and his team is playing some amazing football. If someone was to come in, I would want it to be an up and coming coach like a Alonso, like a De Zerbi. But I want someone who's got a philosophy for sure, so that we can get behind it and we can play with it, Will we get anyone that ever has the influence of a manager like this? Maybe not. I think there's only one Klopp. I don't think you ever repeat. It's going to be different no matter what. And that's why there's that Kubler-Ross model has a bit of acceptance at the end of it. And we need to accept that we are not going to have Jurgen Klopp. And that's plain and simple. I think as a football fan, we get affected by injuries. This season I was affected most by the Spurs game because it was injustice. Yeah. But this doesn't affect me because there's a reason he wants to do it. He's not going to do it if there's a legit. The guy's earning big bucks. His team's top of the league. Why would you leave if everything's so good internally in yourself? He must be feeling it's knackering. He's not getting any younger either. And maybe the Germany job in the future, he's made a statement that he would not join any other English club either. So it's not.
He also said he won't manage anyone for at least a year as well.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely not anyone in England. So forget about that. Yeah. Right? Maybe he comes back later when he's refreshed. If he does in 3-4 years' time, maybe, who knows? But I can see the Germany job being his ultimate goal and him being there for 10 years as a national manager in his country and getting them to win World Cups and Euros. And we'd probably all support him and his team as well, because we'll never think bad of this guy ever. So,
he's given us. We spoke about yesterday. We were talking about the League Cup final, and we were saying that the times that we've had, the events that we've been to together, and with other Liverpool fans,
and I can't make that cup final, and I'm gutted because I've got some work to do. The same day I might be traveling, and the next day or whatever. But I know I can't make that cup final. But what I'm content with is I've seen everything.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I haven't seen is winning the league with fans, but I'm going to get a ticket for that anyway. But we'll definitely do a party, Eddie. If we are winning the league on the final day, we'll be in touch with someone in Liverpool and we'll be setting up a party for Anfield Index Pro. So we'll be there. And that would be great. How amazing would that be? And we'll promise that if we're in that position, we'll do that and we'll celebrate Jurgen Klopp's last day, whether we're in the stadium or not. But the point is, we have to accept that this is happening and this is going to happen. And we should be happy for him that he's made this decision. And we should respect as well. He came out in the middle of a season and did it. And I think obviously the timing is a big one, is a big discussion, Eddie, in terms of why would you do it now? And so he decided in November. Fair play to FSG and Klopp for not leaking any of this. Like you said, people were trying to say he's getting extended. None of it was leaked. And then he's told the players in the last week or so, and that's where the worry comes with leaks, right? Yeah. Because they're going to be upset. They're going to be going through it like us. They're going to be going through more than us. This guy's like a father figure to most of these players, guys. He's an idol to us. He's a father figure. When you lose a father figure, that's going to hurt. So it's going to take a bit longer for them to get over it. But they've shown that they're quite durable and they've played great. And he's probably just nurturing them through this. So you have to respect someone, Eddie, at the top of their game to come out and do this. You have to admire them. And the respect and admiration for this guy just goes through the roof even more, that he's accepted this and done this at this time. And he's given us a chance to fucking drive for something. I believe in herd mentality, man. I believe the fan base, I believe that the players can all get together now. There's one thing, there's no blame game. Put it to a side. Just fucking focus on winning it all and supporting this team this season now. It's just all together, one for all, and just smash this.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there'll be a unifying force than this. Honestly, the unifying force in people's mentality will be through the roof. So we're going to leave it there. There's going to be a lot more on this. There's already stories on AnfieldIndex.com. There's going to be a lot more podcasts. We're coming into the weekend now. Obviously, the game's on Sunday. We'll try and get as much out as we can. The Schmatka news, I didn't know actually until Gags just told me, so that's my afternoon screwed. So thanks for that, Gags. I'll go and get working on that now. But all our writers are busy. All our podcasters will be busy. As I say, it's very rare for either Gags or myself the podcast, and we were pretty much the only two available, and that tells you everyone else is gearing up for what's coming. So we've jumped on and we've done this just now. But so this is a sad day in some ways, but a day of reflection in others, and probably come Sunday, the ultimate positivity boost for the players, for the fans, for Jurgen Klopp. He will be absolutely lionized at Anfield over the coming months. There is absolutely no shadow of a doubt, and no one is more deserving of that accolade. The fans will show their voice. If you've got tickets to Anfield in this remainder of the season, you are going to love it. I mean, it is going to be incredible. So let's get on board as fans. Let's get on board and support the club as much as we can. There's going to be so much more to come on Anfield Index. So thanks to Gags. Thanks to you for listening. And until next time, up the Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at anfieldindex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
At Kroger, shopping with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in-store. Same low prices, deals, and rewards on the same high-quality items. It's one small click for groceries, one big win for busy families everywhere. Start your cart today at Kroger.com. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.